how can you lose when you're doing you?
It's a marathon. You're at 109 right now.
All right, so Jean Michel Basquiat. All right, so you remember Do the Right Thing and Smiley?
I seen it once. I don't remember the characters.
All right, so Smiley, man, you gotta have a microphone near your.
Yeah, I'm not doing the microphone yet. Doing the drinks first.
All right, man. So you asked me if I went to the show for Jean Michel Basquiat.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the guy is a one man show, and the guy in the show is the actor from. Are you? I know you have to be careful. Oh man, it's the it's the guy, the actor from Spike Lee movies, Do the Right Thing, Malcolm X, School Days. He's in a lot of those movies. He was in American Gangster. Um, he was a friend of Basquiat's. He met him in Los Angeles.
What's his name?
Roger Guimvier. I can't pronounce it. It's a French Creole. He's Haitian, so it's a French Creole Haitian name.
Mm-hmm.
Roger Guimvier Smith. Roger G. Smith. All right. So um he met Basquiat in Los Angeles when they were around their 20s, I suppose. And he's telling the story about Basquiat's life intertwined with the events that happened during Basquiat's life, during his life as well. He talks about when they met until Basquiat died. So he covers all of Basquiat's life, and he does a phenomenal job of it, of just telling, you know, interweaving music, you know, drugs, poetry,
White
uh,
women?
white women. Does he have any stories about white women?
He should. I would have gone if it was about white women.
He's performing tonight
Oh, yeah.
at 8 p.m. If you stick around, the show ends at 9 p.m. We could be up there and be back and check it out.
You got to wear special clothes?
Hell nah. You don't have to wear special clothes. Nah. I had my Basquiat t-shirt, and I had my Rastafari uh button down shirt, but it was open so you could see my t-shirt. Some regular pants and sneakers. So he does a one man show, and he talks about Basquiat's his interaction and whatnot.
So this is only while Basquiat was in LA or also in New York City?
So, well, the story, his one man show covers. Hold up. Oh, okay. I thought I didn't press record on this. Like, damn, we over here talking. I didn't even record. Excuse me. You know, his portion of knowing Basquiat. You going to sleep,
I'm listening.
man? So Basquiat lived in Los Angeles, let's say 6 months out of the year. I think it was a shorter time than that, but he had a studio set up for him, and he lived out of. I've been to the place where he lived, only on the outside, of course, 'cause, you know, but I know where it was. So maybe they were friends for 6 months, but he was friends with him. But Basquiat had him come into the studio. He was a Roger Guimvier Smith is a thespian, so he does he performs Shakespeare. He performed as Frederick Douglass, Huey P. Newton. Um, he did a one man show about Rodney King that's on Netflix. So in order to acclimate myself to his most recent work, I watched the Rodney King one after the show, and yeah, man. So, but yeah, they probably knew each other for about 6 months. But Basquiat had him come into the in his studio, so he was right there with him when he was creating these works of art. He was he was even his muse at some points, because while Basquiat was painting, Roger was reciting Shakespeare or Frederick Douglass, or he was reciting. He was just being an actor. And Basquiat would be like, "Hey man, that's dope. Say that again. All right, let me write that down." And he would put it on his paintings. He would put words and phrases that he was inspired to do so from this guy. So
Did
that
he,
was their interact. But then they went to clubs together. They went to clubs. They were hanging out. They were boys. While he was in L.A., they were boys.
did they did he gift him a painting?
What?
Did he gift him a painting?
Yeah.
Does he still have it?
No.
He sold it for crack?
Did he sell it for crack? No, he's not a crackhead. He just didn't care for it. Imagine that. There are two stories. Um, Al Diaz, I met Al Diaz.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Al Diaz told me Jean Michel gave him a work of art. He said, "Here, take this. You know, this is from directly. This is me to you, Al, from Basquiat to Al. Al at the time was addicted to heroin, and he sold it for some heroin. Yes. Roger wasn't into that, but Roger didn't see the worth of what he had.
So he just threw it in the garbage.
He took that shit. He was driving a Pinto, a Ford Pinto. He said he threw it in the back seat. He might have put it up in his house, apartment. He said his niece became jealous because Basquiat's art style was reminiscent of a child. So the niece looked at it and she became jealous. What child, whose child art are you admiring over my art? Kind of a thing. What the fuck, Unc? What you doing with this shit? Why you bring this into the house? I could have done this. So that's one of the little stories. But imagine that. He gifted him a work of art and he was just like, that's
He could have sold that for millions.
exactly. But Basquiat, but see, the tripped out thing about it is Basquiat told him when he handed it to him, buy a home with this. And he was like, "Nigga, what? Okay, let's go to the club." Let me toss this in the back of my pencil. Let's roll to the club. I don't know what you want, man.
Man, that's. I feel like I'd be giving you jewels like that though. You just 20 years from now, like, I wish I would have listened. No
Shit.
listen.
Well, Lance was the one who put me up on crypto.
Who was Lance?
Lance is a kid from south side of Chicago. I met him in Peru. We were teacher trainers. And Lance was all gung-ho into crypto. But see, Lance, when I got to Peru, the number of countries I had been to were the United States, South Korea, Japan, Taiwan, and then this new country, Peru. I had only been to 5 countries. Over the course of like 7 years,
So
5 countries. But my idea was once I moved to South Korea, I was going to become a traveler. That didn't happen until like that 7th year that I was in Korea. I lost 7 years because I didn't have the courage to do it. But by the time I met Lance, he's younger, and we're in Peru teaching. Lance has already been to Finland, Saudi Arabia, a number of countries. But it was when he was in Scandinavia that he learned about crypto. He has some Scandinavian friends, and they were just like, "Oh yes, it's the future," yada yada yada. So when I met him, it was they had already gone through crypto was worth less than $1. By the time we meet in Peru, it's $250. 2015. The following year, you and I meet, and we're in Saudi Arabia, and it shoots up to 16,000.
yeah, see, I didn't know about crypto. Realistically, I didn't know about it until I didn't really think about it seriously until I met Dustin in Saudi, and this is before Blue Force though. We had worked another contract together, And then we worked at Blue Force, and he was telling me about XRP, and he told me he got in at like 9 cents, but when he was telling me about it, it was at 17. But I couldn't buy any because I didn't have an American account at the time. I didn't
Yeah.
have an American bank account, so I was, and then like I think I gave a presentation to the fellas about Bitcoin when it was 1300, but I didn't have a bank account, so I didn't buy any then. But I kind of regret that if I would have bought some then, because I could have. Realistically, I could have got 10 of them. I had enough money to get like 10 Bitcoin at the time
Well, I didn't buy.
before it exploded when it was around 1300. Cause what was that black dude's name? He's from LA too, but I forget his name now. Yeah, he was telling me he was dollar cost averaging into Bitcoin from the time it was $800, so he might have a nice little pile of it too.
Well, I didn't buy. When Lance told me about it, I didn't buy into it because it was too complicated.
Right.
It was too complicated. You had to know about the wallets. You had to know about the exchanges where it was available. You had to know how to transfer from the exchange to set it into your wallet. It was like this is. It sounded like rocket science, and it sounded very sketchy.
Yeah, yeah.
And then a year later, or maybe a couple of years later, it was available on Robinhood.
Oh yeah, yeah.
By the time it was on Robinhood, it was already very expensive, but it was very accessible at the same time.
Yeah, I mean that's how it be. You really want to make the real money, you got to be a trailblazer.
Which that's what Lance was, because Lance was, yeah, he learned about it and he just geeked out, just did the research and he was into it. And he was just like, it didn't matter. He put, I don't know if he put his whole check in. After it hit 16,000, I heard he was just every month he was just putting his whole check in. But before that, he was just buying what he could
Hmm.
and building up. But what in Lance's case, he said that he didn't. Of course, he didn't know if this was a gamble or not.
Hmm.
But he was young enough and ready to risk it. He said that after he made 50,000 in it, he took that 50,000, paid off his student loans with it, and then he said everything that comes thereafter is just icing on the cake, because he knocked out his student loans. He had nothing to worry about. So, which is where he is today. I believe he's I won't say any more about his whereabouts or whatever, but yo,
He out the game. He retired.
I don't know. I honestly I don't know what he's doing. Last I heard, he was in Korea and he was teaching, but the teaching for him was just a gig, to keep him busy, because as far as his pocketbook goes, he was like, "What do I need this for?" And he was, yeah. I think he got married and lives a quiet life.
To a Korean.
No, why you say that?
Because he's in Korea teaching.
Well, we could talk about the Korean. We could talk about Koreans now. Segue into them since you mentioned it. What do you think about marrying Koreans? Or what do you think about Koreans in general?
I wasn't a fan when I lived there. Cause like
Hold up, let me stop this and then we'll keep it rolling. All right. So you were saying you weren't a fan of Koreans?
no, cause I mean everything. I didn't really have a good time there, and like part of it is me, and then part of it is this is just their culture. Like they got a culture of not paying, and the way it was explained to me was that just because you work doesn't mean that you deserve money. You need to keep a good attitude with your boss to get paid. And I
Oh,
was like, and some of those, and it wasn't just our company. It was a lot of schools around there where they would like not pay the workers for a month or two
of
or
course.
whatever.
That happened to me. What kind of work were you doing? Were you a hagwon? Were you at a
Yeah,
school?
I was basically at a hog one. I was attached to a public school.
Well,
So
that's
we
why
we
that's why
were
you
a
had cash issues because you it was if you worked for the public school district, your money was coming from the government and
no
was
no.
basically insured.
I was being paid by the Hagwon.
Right,
They had the contract with the school or whatever they were doing,
right.
and all they were doing was it was like extra classes after school. So it wasn't like in lieu of English classes, or our school was the English class for the school.
Yeah.
No, we were just like just a hagwan that came to the school, and if you wanted to sign your kids up to it, you could, and if you did, I don't think they got paid directly by the school. I think they got paid by the parents, just like everywhere else. But regardless of their financial structure, I worked. I want my money.
But that sounds like an after school program that only lasts like 2 hours per
Yeah,
day.
yeah. We worked. I worked. I worked 6 days a week, so it was like
Oh, you did the 6 day week. I
it
did that too.
was like 3 or 4. It was from 12 to 4 or 5 at the after school. Then we would go to the home office and teach like a class or whatever.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
And
two
then
work sites,
and then on Saturday
three
I
work
had to
sites.
go to this middle school and teach. So from the time I landed on the plane, I landed on a Monday. I taught all week. Most teachers, when they come from America, they get their flight reimbursed. I had to pay for my flight. So I paid for my flight out there. I kept asking them for my money. It was like, we'll give it to you tomorrow. We'll give it to you tomorrow. Well, come
Mm,
Friday, I was like, if I don't have my money, I'm not going nowhere. I'm not
right,
teaching.
right.
So Saturday morning, they knocking on my door. Teacher Harris, why ain't you at school? It's very bad. All this. I'm like, hey man, A, quit knocking on my door. B, I told you about this not paying me. Go find my money and then I'll go teach. Otherwise, I'm not teaching.
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
go home. I don't care. So it was always this tension between me and the school. And then, they got to calling me a nigger around the office or whatever.
How did that happen?
They was like, okay, so my
Were they saying Hugin?
no, they were saying nigga. So my boss, she was a Korean woman. She was a Korean businesswoman, and she had a gay husband and a probably gay son by now. So her gay husband and his boyfriend was in the office doing little art projects like this, and they got back to me. I'm at the elementary school site. They was like, "Oh yeah, they be calling you a nigga around the office." I was like,
Okay,
"Say
okay, okay,
less."
okay.
So
So,
I walked back to the office because um, the school was actually in like Incheon New City. Incheon New City was like they reclaimed some land by building
yeah,
out the dirt or whatever
make the
in the
airport.
water.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I just walked back to the office. I was like, "Who here calling me a nigga?" I kicked in my boss's door. I was like, "You in here calling me a nigga?" She was like, "No, I ain't calling you a nigga." I walked down to the office. I was her gay husband and with his little ponytail doing this little art. I'm like, "You in here calling me a nigga?" He was like, "No, I ain't calling you a nigga." So I go to the fat. They had like a fat like office boy who was running around. I was like, "You calling me a nigga? Cause nigga here now. You got something to say?" He was like, "No, no, no. I wasn't calling you a nigga." I was like, "You was calling me a nigga, but that's okay." I was like,
Okay,
"I ain't gonna throw you out the window today," but
a
they
comparable,
they called the police on me too when I quit.
a comparable experience. Because I'm like, I couldn't. I've never, I hadn't had that experience, so I couldn't, like sort of vouch or understand. But I did. I did have an experience like that. So Phil, shout out to Phil, man. Phil was working at a Hagwon, and I think he left, and he was like, "Here, Larry, take this job. I got one for you. Here, take my job." And teaching on the side is illegal, but you need the cash, so you do these things in Korea. So I get over to the Hagwon after my regular university gig, and I'm teaching, and I go onto their computer, and they have three icons, three file folder icons sitting on the computer that have been named, and it is something like one file is like ugly, the next file is black, and then the third file is nigga, ugly black nigga.
In Hangul.
No, it's not in Korean at all. It's in English.
Oh God.
Three folders sitting on this and I'm like, I'm using the computer. I happen to look at it. I'm like, wait, hold up. So I asked Phil if he had experienced stuff like that. He was like, "Oh yeah, yeah, they do shit like this." I was like, "No, man." Phil's a big guy, and he was just like, "Hey, if they were to say it to my face, then they'd have a problem. But little stuff like that." He was like, "Yeah, you gonna deal with that? Yeah, it's gonna be like." I was like, "No," because up until that point of my time in Korea, I had only experienced, "We're not hiring you. We're looking for someone else. No, thank you."
Oh yeah, I
Um,
used to put. I had a blog about Korea, and like the hierarchy was like blonde hair, blue eye, white girl that the owner could possibly fuck. That's like top tier. Then it's like from America or Canada, preferably.
yeah.
And then it's like different various shades of white, and then white men, then black woman, and then like if they absolutely got to, bottom of the barrel black man. So I was cool with that. This y'all racial hierarchy. I know I got to send out 200 applications just to get one bullshit job. I'm cool with that. But once you give me the job and I accept the job and I'm doing the job, I don't want to hear nothing else about it.
Uh,
And then they always trying to get something for nothing. Like even when I was in Taiwan, my teaching hours was like, let's say 3 to 8. So you teach all your classes, but they had this thing where they wanted you to check the homework on the way out unpaid. So that extra half hour at the end, they wasn't paying for that.
hmm,
And I was like, if you want labor, pay for it, or
yeah.
I'm going home.
Hmm,
So it's always been a thing with these Asians and not wanting to pay.
Korea. Um,
But like, no, I live with a Korean family. They was cool. The lady I used to, that was like my friend over there, I think she killed herself. Cause like none of the students would tell me what happened, and she just not on Facebook no more. But she contacted me, but it really wasn't nothing I could do for her at the time.
um, I don't know. So, so we were in Korea around the same. I arrived in 2007,
Yeah, I got there in 2007 also. March 2007 is when I landed in Korea.
and I left in 2016.
I got the fuck out of there in 2000. Okay, so I worked that first bullshit contract. Then I went and lived in Thailand for like 6 months because they had that whole thing where they got your slave rights and shit. You can't. You got to get permission to get out of that contract. So I actually paid. I basically paid them back all the money they paid me. They was like, you owe us fees and shit from your recruiting and all that, and your flight over here and all that. I was like, I don't even really want to deal with y'all no more. So I actually paid them roughly what they had paid me to teach there. I go to Thailand, do Muay Thai every day, fuck bitches, have fun. Then I come back. I'm like, all right, cool. I'll just get a job. I get a job. It was like these people still got your employee rights, your workers' rights, or whatever. So I go back to the office. I was like, y'all didn't want me in here, and I didn't pay y'all money, and you still ain't let me out. It's about to be a problem. I'm gonna beat up your gay boyfriend, your gay husband, if you don't let me go. So I'm
Ah,
going crazy in the office or whatever. I contact the new the new Korean I'm supposed to work for. He was like, "Just leave the office. I'll take care of it." He go down to the immigration bureau or whatever, and he do whatever. Maybe he gave him some money. I know he gave him like some pop or something. He had a big case of pop he was handing out and shit.
that's
So
how they do.
he
You give them
fixed it.
drinks and stuff.
Yeah, he fixed it or whatever, and they let me out. And it's funny because I'm telling you the story of my first job in Korea.
Yeah.
I only worked there like 2-3 months. I was so sick of these fucking people that I didn't even stay a whole year. That's why even though I left for 6 months, I still had a bunch of time on my visa.
Hang on. All right. So let me see. Comparable experiences that I had in Korea include. Um, I remember I was being yelled at. I was an intern for a program. Um, they were actually bringing international students, so there were some students from California who were in Korea. You sure you want to show your belly like that, man? So we are. I'm an intern over there. International Vaccine Institute. Great position. Shout out to Olivia for hooking me up on that position. No pay, but it was
It wasn't a great position then.
it was you stay with the kids. You just make sure that they get. They're not even kids. They're like they're seniors, high school seniors, I guess. Um, you get a hotel room. You stay in a hotel room. You get at a nice resort. It was off season. It was a snow resort. It was a ski resort, but it was off season, so there's no snow. Anyhow, food, meals, everything, transportation was taken care of. So it was like a weekend in another city. Just show up and act like you're gonna, like you're doing stuff. Like cool. All right. So I'm there and I'm wearing my dress shoes because I'm trying to look nice, trying to be presentable because I'm an intern leader, right? Organizing my little group of high school seniors
For no money.
for no money, right? So I'm not taking it that seriously, right? But the Koreans are. So I'm wearing my dress shoes, and the idea is, hey, get the kids up early in the morning and have them run around the track. It's not really a track; it's a field, and get them to run out there. So I get up. I'm like, come on, guys, we're going to go out here. And I'm like, you're going to run. So they start running, just to warm them up. My boss, I didn't even know she was my boss. She's organizing this thing. She comes to me and she's like, why aren't you running with them? And I'm like, because I have these dress shoes. I don't have the appropriate attire. I didn't know that we were going to do any physical activity, exercises with these kids.
I wouldn't run it if I could be wearing a full tracksuit, and I wouldn't fucking. Why aren't you running?
So she said. So I told her. I said, I'm wearing. I'm doing me. I've got dress clothes on. I'm not running. And she's like, you're supposed to set an example. You got to get out there and run. And I was just like, and she's yelling at me. And
For free, for no money.
all of those things came to mind. I'm like, you're not paying me. You're not my boss. I'm wearing dress shoes. Like, it's only one weekend that we're here doing this, 48 hours with these kids. I'm like, come on. So that was one time I was just like, these Koreans are taking this mess a little too seriously. All right, so that was then. Years later, I'm working with my boy Herbert. Shout out to Herbert. And we are doing a winter camp. And I'm learning my Korean, not my Spanish. I'm learning my Korean, and I'm using my Korean. So there are a couple of Korean girls who are there who are working alongside. One of them really nice, and I'll say some things to her. 예쁘군요. What is it? 예뻐요. Pretty.
It's funny. For the first like 6 weeks I was in Korea, I was like trying to learn Korean. Then I decided it sounded gay, and I wouldn't do it anymore.
So so I said these things to her, and there was nothing. She smiled, laughed. We were just talking, and I was just being playful, whatever. I was doing my work. Then there was this other girl.
Hmm.
I did the same thing with her. 예쁘군요. Oh, you know what I was doing? I was asking her. What was I asking her? 몇 살이에요? How old are you? And it was very, very. What is it? Innocuous, docile. Very. What? Um. It wasn't. It wasn't. I wasn't after this girl. I wasn't trying to get her number. I wasn't stalking her. I wasn't nothing. All I was doing was speak some Korean, playful, see and just test the waters, just see where it goes. She didn't respond as well as the other chick did, so I didn't pursue anything. I didn't mess. I was just like, well, dang, that didn't go so well. That was just one interaction with her. The following day, during our meeting, the manager is talking, yada 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 yada. Next thing you know, and Larry, you don't talk to these girls or whatever. What did you do? He was specifically saying, don't talk to that girl over there. And I was just like, because before that he was giving all this information about the program and stuff, and then he directed everything toward me. You are not to talk to these girls, da, 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 da. And I'm just like, all I said was, you're pretty, or all I said was, how old are you, or something like this, and I'm like, I was just trying to practice my Korean, basically. So anyway,
Was you
all
being paid for this program?
oh yeah, I was getting paid for that one. I
Uh,
was getting paid.
God, I think back to the time when we had.
But wait, that was just the beginning, because what happened there? Oh. So I was growing my beard during the program, right? It was 2 week. It might have been 4 weeks, man. I don't know, 3 weeks. It might have been 3 weeks. 3 weeks. 3 week program. Maybe four. It was a It was a winter program. It was probably the better part of 4 weeks, man. Okay. I'm growing my beard. The end of the program comes, and they're like, the parents are gonna be there. They pay us. I get my money. Now, if I had been a white boy, which they had a history of white boys doing this. Once they got their money, they left the program a day or two early, and they were no longer there for the final ceremony or whatever. I get my check. Now mind you, we were staying in dorms on the campus with the kids or whatever. You asleep?
I'm listening.
Nah. I get my money. I only my university. They have us. I'm a teacher there. I'm housed in a dormitory. It's only maybe 20 minutes away. I get my money and I'm like, I'm gonna just drive to my dorm. I'm gonna get dressed because tomorrow I'm gonna be meeting their parents. I'm gonna shave. I'm gonna put my suit on, and I'll be back in the morning when the program begins. The program director discovers that after he paid me, I'm no longer in my dorm with the program. Mind you, we didn't have any responsibilities beyond 3 or 4 p.m. So the rest of the evening was to ourselves. So that's when I jumped in a taxi and I went back over there and I was like, I'm gonna get fresh and I'll just come back, take another taxi, I'll just come back. I'll be shaved and I'll wear a suit. He didn't think that. He thought I was just taking the money and absconding and I wasn't gonna return and all this type of bullshit. So anyway, the next day rolls around, but he's calling and he's like, Larry, where are you? What the hell are you doing? And all this type of shit. And I'm like, dude, relax, man. I'm not running away. I didn't take the money. I'll be there tomorrow. He's like, no, you got to be back here. You got to be back here. I'm like, no. I'm like, dude, I'm a university professor. You think I'm a what? A winter program teacher who's just in the country for a short time? No, I have this other job. I have another place to live. It's only 20 minutes away. I'll be back. Don't worry. I shave, get dressed, whatever. I sleep in my dorm at my university, and then I make my way back the next day. He was throwing a fit. I show up that day, suited and booted, shaved, looking right, and I'm like, "What's the big deal, man? I told you exactly what I was doing, getting shaved and getting right for the last day to meet the parents or whatever." He went ballistic. He was like, "No." So that day was the last day, and we were supposed to meet the parents or whatever. He says, you're grounded. You stay in that dorm room until some hour after the program. This is what he was telling me to do. You stay on the campus of the program. You stay in that dorm room until 6 o'clock or something like this, where there was no responsibility. When all of the other teachers have left, that's what he told me to do. Stay in that dorm room and do that. But I was with Herbert. Herbert was like, man, forget that. Here, hop in the car with me. If he calls me trying to contact you, I'll just tell him, man, I needed your help. You're rolling with me and we're doing some things. So sure enough, Herbert and I are rolling around and I get a phone call and no, Herbert gets a phone call and he's like, I don't know what the guy's name, maybe it was Chris or something like that. He's like, Chris, Larry's with me. I'm moving. I needed his help. We're like, you can't tie him up like this, man. He's with me right now. He's not gonna be sitting in a fucking dorm room until 6 o'clock, like he's some kid on punishment or whatever. But literally, that's what he wanted me to do.
I mean, but you a sucker, so he treated you like a sucker. Me, as soon as he would have said, uh, I mean, if he would have raised his voice at me, that would have been the end of the relationship right there.
But
I'm
the
still mad to this day. Fucking Les Lunsford yelled at me one time. I was like, I was thinking about beating his ass then, because we was coming. I was, when we used to have those group meetings.
yeah.
My room was like right out on that corridor, so I would just come out and pull out a chair. They was never talking to me.
Oh,
He was
okay.
like, "Hey, Mike, why don't you pull up a chair and try to join us from across the thing?" I'm like, "Who's this white man yelling at?" I was like, "Should I go over there and beat his ass?"
But
But my whole thing was like, we on this military base, and they got military police, and I don't drive I don't have a key to a car because I didn't drive.
yeah.
So
Oh,
I'm
you
like,
couldn't just leave
yeah. So
the
it'd be
work zone.
like I had to spend like 2 or 3 days trying to get off this fucking base and shit. So I was like, let me just chill out.
Hold up.
But I'm mad to this day. I let that white man yell at me. I'm like, this nigga is out of control. Because my whole thing with white folks is they act tough when they got like a position of authority. So it's not really them; it's their position or your need of this particular job that gives them the bold attitude to talk this way. Because I'm like, we were standing on the street corner someplace, you wouldn't say a fucking word to me. You
That's
keep your
funny.
goddamn mouth shut and hope that I didn't choke you to death or whatever.
That's funny.
Fucking Les Lunsford.
But listen, in my defense, so I had that one girl. She was new, and I just rubbed her the wrong way. But then there was the other young lady whom I had said the same things to. And she was there when I was supposed to be on punishment, and I went back to meet with the guy. And she was there, and I approached her and I was like,
See, you don't leave well enough alone.
well, no, I said to her, I said, I think I said, Lady ga anjoyo, you don't like me?
See,
This is what I
you
asked her.
sound like a sucker.
And then she looked at me and she was like, Lady got Joe. She gave me two thumbs up and everything. And I was like, why are you cool? Why are we cool? And then that other chick, why is she uncool? Telling the boss that I'm all of this other. I'm like,
Hey, Larry,
yo,
I wasn't even there, and I can tell you, A, two different fucking people.
yeah,
B, this woman might have been willing to pretend with your horrible Korean, and this other chick didn't want to be bothered with you.
my
So she
Korean
told
is
her
fine.
boss it wasn't then. I don't even know if it's now. You tell me that it's fine. I
It
don't
is
know.
fine. Yeah.
But yeah, I can see it. Like, yeah, that's why you shouldn't have been talking to none of them girls. Don't even talk to the girls at work.
I,
Don't.
I my
It
my
got you in trouble.
my what you call it? My co-teacher was a girl.
So I've
I had
had
to
four
interact with them no matter
co-teachers,
what.
and I got into it with one of my co-teachers because they used to talk about me on a group chat behind my back, and some of these other people came and told me what they were saying, and I was like, I don't give a fuck about what these people saying.
Mm,
I was like, you ever seen the moon, right? Dogs bark at the moon. The moon doesn't bark at dogs. I'm the
mm,
most interesting person they know. They spend their off hours talking about me.
mm,
I ain't never thought about them. Fuck them.
mm. All right, so
So like
Korea.
I didn't flirt with my co-teachers and all that.
I
I
don't.
felt like I always tell you, I'm not on a field trip, so I'm here to do a job. I want to talk as little as possible, get as paid as much as possible, and do as least amount of work as possible. That's my goal.
Let's see,
I
Korea.
don't want to be stressed out. It's a good thing I didn't know Korean because there's a lot of situations where people would try me. Like I used to live way out in the boondocks at the bottom of this mountain that even Koreans don't even know about. So I would take a bus from Seoul when I wanted to kick it in Itaewon all the way back home. And this one Korean lady was like, "No, I'm not sitting next to him. Fuck him." And I was like, I don't give a fuck, lady. Get the fuck off the bus then and wait for the next one. I'm not, because she was trying to get me to get, the bus was full. She wanted me to get off the bus and wait for the next one. I was like, I'll be damned.
Right.
Fuck you. Your racism should inconvenience you, not me. I love in like Asian countries where like they won't sit next to the gaijin or the Waygook or whatever. They do that shit. They on the subway or the trains or whatever. They won't sit there. Cool. Let me spread the fuck out.
But I never got the sense that the Japanese were as racist as other Asians. Nothing overtly ever happened. I was never
Oh,
denied entry into a Japanese bar, club. I was never, I did say what's up to some Japanese women and they were like, sorry, Japanese only. That
this
happened.
pussy for Japanese only.
That happened.
Hey, she was saving you time.
But
This is a colors only water fountain.
but I did, but I didn't. I've never been in Japan and been like they're not. And you know what? When I was last in Japan a few months ago, I was expecting the Japanese not to want to sit next to me because of that whole idea that they don't rock with them with foreigners. But there I was sitting down, and next thing you know, Japanese are sitting and standing all around me. I don't know if they thought I was Japanese, if they
Obviously, you're
something.
not Japanese, but
They say that I look, I've got my eyes and but they
95% of the time, I would say that it doesn't happen, and like just the 5% of the time that it does happen, I'm cool with it. I'm cool with
man,
like
I ain't
international
feeling it.
racism doesn't really bother me because it's like I'm only here. I'm not here to interact with your culture because I don't really travel a lot outside of making money. Really, I go to countries to get paid, so I don't really give a shit as long as my paycheck is right and whatever I pay for. I had a problem in Thailand when I went to this elephant place with this bitch, and they had two different prices. They had a foreigner price and a Thai price, and
Yeah, they always do that though.
man, fuck y'all. I'm not going in there. You're not gonna do me like that.
Well, that's no, that's always been the case.
Yeah, and I always
That's
avoid those places.
In Korea as well. I'm sure many places, and I
They had that shit in Egypt too, where like the local Egyptians paid one price to go to the pyramids, and
yeah.
foreigners. I was like, you niggas is the foreigners. Y'all don't understand y'all history. Y'all didn't build this shit.
Oh, but then even in California, in these states, if you want to go to an amusement park, there's a California resident fee, and everyone else.
Really?
So
I never seen that.
yeah,
I never been to an amusement park here, so
California residents, yeah, and then you get military discounts. So
I hate
there is
that shit.
that military
I've been
discount.
trying to figure out a way to get a military because I don't respect the U.S. military. So I've been trying to figure out a way to get military discounts everywhere I go. But like you got to have that card, and I was thinking, should I get a fake card made? Because
Well,
they don't have a like you if you get like the
I
hologram or
hear
whatever,
I hear what you're
but
saying.
you wouldn't have the strip unless you try to get on the base. Fucking Foot Locker, they don't have a way to authenticate this fucking card. So
Right.
and I'm all about what do they call that? Theft of service? What is that? They got a term for that. Stolen valor, yeah. Fuck they,
Stolen valor.
yeah, fuck they valor. Yeah, if you can put this on YouTube, there's never been a United States military person that's done anything uh, gallant or heroic. All that shit is white supremacists going to a foreign country, doing something bad, and then making the best out of a bad situation. So all them niggas that got Purple Hearts and shit for what they did in Mogadishu and all that shit, it's like, well, why are you in fucking Somalia? Why are you in Saudi Arabia? Why are you in Iraq? Why
In
are
the
you
first
in
place.
like if I break into this fucking house with me and my boy and you let off some shots and he get his asshole blown open with buckshot and I pull him out of here, I'm technically a hero, right? According to the U.S. military, I'm a hero. Hey,
Oh man.
under fire. I could write up one of them things they do to get their medals under fire. Sergeant First Class Mike Harris ran in and he pulled out Larry Wiggs because he got his asshole blown open
Oh,
with
this nigga,
buckshot, and he's a hero.
man.
Ain't no heroes.
Um, what you call it? Military. There was a guy on TikTok, I think, who had a video about him trying to get a military discount. He was in Burger King or someplace, and a real Marine or the TikTok, the scenario was like it was all staged. The scenario was he's trying to get the military discount, but he doesn't look like military. He was wearing the whole uniform, and then he had like some Timberlands on,
Hmm.
and the guy who was sitting down at the restaurant saw this and was like, "You would never, if you were real, you would never put that combination together and try to get this discount or whatever." So he was like nitpicking at him. It was all staged, but to demonstrate, hey, don't try to do this. And
It's this
I
sucker ass
remember that.
black dude down in North I think he was in Georgia actually. So he a police officer, right? And him and his cop buddies go into a Chick-fil-A, and the Chick-fil-A was like, "Oh, here, we're some cop suckers. You want a free meal, white man? White man get a free meal. You want a free meal, white man? Another white man get a meal. You want a free meal, white man? Another white cop free meal. Black cop, I want free meal. They're like, get out of here, nigger. And so he get all upset. He get on the internet and start crying about it. And I'm like, pay that $12, you bitch ass nigga. They ain't got to give you nothing for free.
Mm.
Quit whining.
Hold up. Hope we have enough space on this thing. We've done this like 4 or 5 times now. Oh, my question for you is, how did you learn about Nipsey Hussle, Jean-Michel Basquiat? Was there someone else I told you about? Yeah. All right. So, how did you learn about? Yeah. How did you learn about Nipsey Hussle and Jean-Michel Basquiat?
I mean, to be honest with you, those people never figured prominently in my life. I was vaguely aware of both of them at the time of their deaths. Uh,
Wait, wait,
I
wait,
saw
wait.
saw a John Basquiat movie starring that one dude
Jeffrey Wright.
on BET. I saw like 30 minutes of that one time, and like you told me about everything I know about Nipsey Hussle. You told me about because the first thing you ever told me was that he was selling a album for $100 or $1,000 or something. You said, and we discussed that. That was in Saudi Arabia. Prior to Saudi Arabia, I don't think I've ever really thought about Nipsey Hussle because,
Right.
like I've told you several times before, I don't really care about rappers after 2003.
Right. um. Okay, so you heard about Basquiat probably in the '90s when that movie came out, and then you heard about. Okay, so you knew about Basquiat before that.
Vaguely.
Okay. Now, what do you think about the fact that of all the songs that Nipsey Hussle ever produced, wrote, he uttered no other artist's name but Jean-Michel Basquiat's name?
Coincidence.
Coincidence. What do you make of this painting? This not this particular painting because this is a reproduction of it. But what do you make of the fact that the painting has many coincidences in it that are related specifically, precisely to Nipsey Hussle's life? You want me to run down the
Not at all. Because, like, it's like a bunch of 10-9 conspiracy theory bullshit
just coincidences?
coincidences that I don't really care about. Like, let's say it's 100% foreshadowing. So what? Because that's the thing too. Is so what? Like you can say everything on this thing is talking about some half black dude that died a decade ago. So what? It doesn't matter. The only people that Nipsey Hussle matters to is his kids and his ex girlfriend. That's it.
What do
And
you
everybody else to me it's a way to hustle on the name. It's cool. I'm glad they getting money out of it, but I don't really have to care about it. It's nothing for me to care about.
What do you care about?
Oh, so I care about cryptocurrencies that I'm invested in. I care about my children and their economic well-being long term. I care about developing my physical fitness, improving my health in the long term. Those are the things I care about.
Right. And I think that on a macro scale, looking across many different people's lives, we are all very self-centered, and that's like the principle I learned in economics. We are all self-interested, entities, self-interested beings. In the market, we go and we buy things for ourselves,
Well, the
but
self is the only thing that matters. That's the only thing that you can control. Like in your particular situation, um, what can you control about your work life? Not much. What can you control about your sex life? Not much. The only thing that you can control are the things that are internal to you. So those are the only things that have any real meaning or value.
all right. But what
Like I love
about
my children, but my children don't have to love me.
okay? But what about like universal law, like the law of gravity that affects all of us? What about
Do you have any control over it? If you, my point is, you should only put energy into the things that you can control, and the things that you can control are very few things. You have a modicum of control over what you eat. You have a modicum of control over what you do in a day, where you can go. You actually have more freedom than some other people. There's a man locked up over in L.A. County who has 70% less control over what he eats. He has zero control over where he goes and where he sleeps. So you can only control what you can control, and that's what you should be interested in. And don't worry about the things you can't control.
so the things that I could not control, the things that I personally could not control
Right?
was these moments when I would find these numbers. I wasn't actively seeking these numbers.
You are obviously actively seeking these numbers.
No,
You
there
put
was
109 on the side of your car. You are actively seeking that number.
No, there was a guy I met at the Japanese garden in Pasadena, older gentleman. I told him I had a card with 109 on it. And I told him, everywhere that I go, I keep running into these numbers. I keep seeing them. He said, yeah, because you're holding the damn card in your hand. You're always going to see it. He was making a joke of that, but delete, erase the card in my hand. These are moments I didn't control where I'm walking to the restroom and there it is written by someone on the door. I go into my hotel room and there it is atop the TV. TV's not even on. I go to the museum and
Okay, but if I told you that your lucky number or lucky color was red, and every time you see red, it would be lucky, you would see red all the time. You would
but
focus on it. You know what? Here's the thing. You know what kind of car I bought, right?
yeah.
After I bought it, I see those cars everywhere,
And that's
and
yeah.
that's just how your 109 works. I see those cars everywhere. It's not that I'm hyper focused on them. It's just, oh wow, I didn't
No.
know this was
No.
such a popular car.
No. My birthday weekend, 2015, I went to Japan. I went to Japan one night. I was hungry and I went to a late night ramen spot that's open 24 hours. I go in there and the guy says, come with me. And he seats me at seat number 10. I didn't tell him anything about my birthday. It was the week before my birthday. He just seated me at number 10. So I was like, cool. I look up, I take a picture of the numbers 10 and 9 because of the way that they're written. I had a moment to myself, like, oh, that's cool. I didn't tell anyone, I didn't say anything. I ate my damn ramen and I left. When I was leaving Japan, the ferry that I'm on my ticket that morning, I went in to get my ticket. I was on the ferry going back to Korea. It was ferry number 109. I'm like, I just sat down with number 10. I looked at the 10-9 at the booth. Now I'm on ferry number 10-9. I'd snap a photo of that, and I'm like, wow. I get to Korea. I've got to take a train, the KTX, back to the city where I came from.
You do understand that this is the most boring.
I know, and I'm
Like it means nothing.
right. I should
I've been
not.
telling you for 10 years now. No, maybe not 10 years. Maybe like because
We're almost.
I
It's
feel like
9 years. We've known each other for 9 years.
right. I feel like you wasn't on this bullshit in Korea, Saudi Arabia. I feel like this is a
It
LA thing.
it happened. Everything
So
happened in 2019. That made see these things were happening to me in 2016 when we met.
mhm.
I was just documenting them. I was just like, well, damn, that's interesting, and just put it to the side. I just put it to the side. I never told anybody about. I told Derek. Derek's the only one I told about this. Because he would tell me, man, I always look up at the moon. I take pictures of the moon. I'm like, that's what you do? He's like, yeah. I was like, well, let me tell you what I do. I document these moments when I see these numbers, and they're weird moments. Okay. I wasn't talking about it. But yeah, after 2019, I understood why I was talking about it. But. In Korea, I'm going back to my town, so I jump on the train, and the usher, the ticket lady gives me a ticket in row 10.
So
This
when
is
you went to Korea, what was the ticket number?
it was I don't know.
So it's just a random number,
It was just a random number.
right?
All
So
of these things have been
so
random.
if you get on the ferry enough,
Yes.
everybody will get a 10-9 because that's just how it goes
Well,
with the
10.
seating.
Now it's not a 10-9. It was just in row 10, a seat in row 10.
Okay, so yeah, that's not a thing.
It's not a thing at all. But for me, it was a week before my birthday, and seeing the number 10 and seeing the rows as they're lined up, 10-9, that left me with an impression. Then
So
it
we'll
was
say it makes it easy to remember your birthday.
exactly, exactly. Which is why I promote it as what's your birthday?
Oh, see, I know your birthday. You don't even know my birthday. See what kind of friend you are. My birthday was all kind of fuck you.
Wasn't it 8 August 12 or something? 21?
Yeah, it's August 12th.
August 12th. That's 8/12. 8/12. That's you. 8/12.
I promise you, I'm not gonna make it a jihad to find 8/12s in the world.
How can you lose when you're doing you?
It's a marathon. You're at 109 right now.
October 9th. That's where it starts.
You see, it's the same old thing.